Good afternoon, everyone. Today we are going to discuss about two topics related with GST, specifically with reference to service. Okay, so let me just list out the topics. These are the topics for today. First, we are going to see what are the different types of supply with examples. This is just a theoretical approach. You might get a question like, what are the different types of supply? Okay. So this is the answer for different types of supply. Number one is any transfer of goods without transferring of title. Okay, anything that you are transferring without transferring of title means ownership. Like for example, if you take Mr. Murthy supplied furniture to Mr. Kumar on rent basis. So when you say rent basis for a period of 3 months, after 3 months, it is going to be returned back to the owner. So this is also called as service. Okay, similarly, you have got any lease, assessment, tenancy, and license to occupy land for some specific duration. Okay, like for example, if you take Mr. Unlet out land on lease to Microsoft, so that is also treated as a service. Number three, any lease or letting out of the building for commercial use. Example, Microsoft undertakes tech support work to its customers by using premises in Cyber Tower. That is also one of the service which is provided by Microsoft. Okay. And similarly, we have got number four, any job work or process applied to another person's goods. For example, if you have got some problem with your MI phone, what do? You go for repair. So the repair work which is undertaken by MI, okay, for your mobile phone or for television or some electronic gadgets, or for of the customer, that is you, then that is also treated as a service. Number five, business assets put for private use. Now, for example, if you see, let us say Microsoft has purchased a bus so that their employees can get benefit of pickup and drops. That is also treated as a service. Number six, renting of immovable property. Immovable means bus is a movable property. Immovable is not movable. Now, for example, if you take a shop, okay, so renting a shop to perform business operation, even that is also treated as a service. Number seven, deployment of information technology software. Like for example, some X company is there which is using SAP. SAP is basically a product, an ERP product. So they are using that to customize and give it to the client. That process is also called as service. Number eight, workers working on contract or they are transferring property from one place to another place. Okay, even that is treated as service. Example, construction company uses laborers and material to construct complex, or movers and shakers shift the goods from one place to another place. This is also treated as a service. So these are different examples of scenarios which are considered to be types of service. So if the question comes, what are the different types of services? So you can mention this in a point, 8 points are given, and you can say that these are the different types of services which can be rendered by one person to another person, one person to a business, or business to business, or business to customer. Okay, so that is what we call it as service. Okay, which is taxable. Okay, the service which is rendered is taxable. So whatever practical scenarios or examples you find around, you can add it as a point and include that it is a type of service. Okay, you can give example of any pujari who is performing puja for the purpose of general public. Even that is also a service to God. So he's doing a service to God as well as serving people who are coming to temple. Okay, so in this way we have got different scenarios. We can put that in points and say that it is a type of service. All right, then we have got to do some practical work, that is enabling of GST and defining the tax details. This we have done already in Tally. So just for a recap, I'm going to do it again. Okay, for a company called as JJ Enterprise. Okay, so I'm going to enable it for JJ Enterprise. Okay, Enterprises, JJ Enterprises, which is, let us say, it is located in street number 1. Street 1. Okay, and plot number plot number 34, fourth block. Okay, fourth block. They are located in fourth block. And further details, I'm just providing that they are located in Bangalore location, Jayanagar, Bangalore. Pin code number, let's say it is 560022. That is the Jayanagar's pin code number. Okay. Financial year, let it be the same, whatever financial year, and we definitely require its GSTN number, isn't it? So I'll just specify that this is located in Karnataka, and Karnataka's number is 29. So I'm just giving ASBF, just random one. This is not the actual one, so it might accept or reject it. We'll see that. ASBFG 1234 A1Z5 is what I've given. Okay, A1Z5. Now let us see whether it's going to accept or not. Okay, so that is the company. So I'm going to create a company first, and then I have to enable GST and define the tax in that. Okay, so how to do it? Let us check this out. Okay, enabling GST as well as enabling what services also. Services. Okay, so let us check this out for JJ Enterprise. So I'm navigating to Tally, selecting educational mode. Okay, already RK Enterprise is there. I want to shut it. So Alt F3 and say H to shut the company. So company is shut. Now we are going to create a new company. I'll say create company JJ Enterprises. Here I'll give JJ Enterprises. And I'll provide the same address which I have given. So that is the address. We've got street, plot, and other details. So street number 1. Okay, plot number 34, 4th Street, the 4th Street, yeah, 4th block, Jayanagar, okay, Jayanagar, Bangalore, Jayanagar, Bangalore. Okay, so I'm just providing that they are located in Bangalore. Okay, plus I'm providing even pin code number 500, so 560022. Okay, location is in India, they are located in India, and the state is Karnataka. State is Karnataka. Okay, I selected state. Pin code number I've already given, but if I want to repeat, I'll say 560022. Okay, I've given that. Phone number, I'm just giving random phone number. So other details and other things, I'm just ignoring it. Okay, so I'll just say Control A to save it. So the company is created. Now, after creation of company, you know that function key F11 will get enabled. Okay, function key F11 gets enabled. You can find it on the right hand side in the bottom. Function key F11. Either you click on this or press F11 and select function key F3. F3 is statutory and taxation. You can find it over here on the right side. So click on it. Okay, enable what? Enable the GST option. Say yes. Say yes to set and alter GST. Provide the details. Location Karnataka. It's a regular business. Okay, and here we need to provide what? The GSTN number. So whatever GSTN number I've shared just now, the same thing I'm going to use here. Okay, so 29. I just gave randomly ASBFG. Okay, 1234. Followed with A1Z5 is what I gave. Okay, so I just gave that. It is not accepting it because it is not the actual one, so it's fine. I just gave that. So monthly, other details are same, and we are going to select the option here as yes for what? Set and alter GST rate details. I'll say yes, and it is going to prompt me to provide description of the product. Let's say it is television, TV. Okay, HSN number 1234567 Okay, and it is taxable, and the percentage of IGST is 18%, which is 9%. Control A to save these details. Control A to save your GST details. Control A once again to save your statutory and taxation details. That is how you have configured your GST related information in statutory and taxation. This is what we did. Okay. So we said yes, and we have entered into it, provided all those details. Okay. At the same time, you just come down and specify that you want to enable even services. Say yes for services. Okay. Set and alter service tax details. If you say yes, it is going to ask you for further details. Okay. So you can provide your registered number. Okay. Service tax registered number and type of organization. You have to provide even that. So I'm just trying to give some number here. Okay. And a type of registration, whether it is your registered under private or public limited, you have to specify that. So I'm just saying that it is a private limited company, registered as private limited company. Okay. Other details, I'm just ignoring it. Control A to save these details. Control A once again to save further details. Okay. So this is how you enable. Okay. You enable your GST as well as your services options. Okay. So remember, it is function key F11 followed with immediately function key F3. Okay. So F11 is statutory and taxation. And F3, sorry, statutory and taxation is function key F3. Okay. And whereas function key F11 is nothing but your features. Right. And by selecting the option GST option and enable GST and services, enable services option. This is what is a task we have performed. Okay. It's a very simple process. You might get a question. How do you enable GST and services? Simple step, function key F11 and function key F3 will take you to statutory and taxation, where you have to go and select the options here. Okay, these are the options. Please check it once again. Enable GST, that is the first option. And the other one is enable service tax. That is the second option. Enable GST and enable service. That is what we did. Enable GST and enable service. So once you're done with this, we can proceed further with input tax credit to GST. Input tax credit to GST. What do you mean by input tax credit? If your business has performed a transaction before registration of GST, then you will have some accumulated amount which is collected by you as VAT and SunVat. Now the closing balance of VAT and SunVat is the one which we have to transfer it to your GSTs, your central tax ledger, and your service tax has to be transferred. Okay, so you have to transfer your central tax to central tax ledger, and we have got even service tax which is transferred to your service tax ledger. So here we are going to create two ledgers in this step. Number one, create, I'll say it as central tax ledger, and create one more ledger, that is service tax at the rate 14%. Okay, so we are going to create these two ledgers which are coming under duties and taxes. Duties and taxes. Please check this step. Okay, so practical approach I'm showing you. I'll just go here. So how do you create your ledger? Same process what we have learned before. So I'll just say escape to come out of the screen. Accounting info, ledger create. Ledger create. Okay, so in this we are going to create two ledgers. Number one is your first ledger, that is central tax ledger. So I'm giving here central tax. Central tax. It comes under what? Duties and taxes. Okay, duties and taxes. It is part of what? Part of GST. It is part of GST. And what type of tax is this? It's a central tax. Okay, no percentages, anything, nothing has to be configured here. Just hit enter. And here I'll select not applicable. That's it. So this is what we have to do while creating your ledger. Okay, so Control A to save this information. So we have created one ledger, that is central tax ledger. Similarly, we are going to create one more ledger, that is your service tax at the rate 14%. Okay, because service tax, as I told you, it is a separate tax that is applicable. So we collected service taxes 14% from the customer. So service tax at the rate 14%. Okay, that's the ledger what I'm creating. Comes under duties and taxes. Okay, it is what? It is service tax. It is not GST. It is service tax. Okay, service tax, and it is part of service tax only. Okay, not applicable. That's it. So this is what we have done to create your service tax related information. All right. So central tax and service tax ledgers have been created. Control A to save this. So once you create it, then you should know how exactly we perform a transfer. Okay, so transfer of your accumulated amount can be done with the help of your voucher entry. Okay, so let us check out for the voucher entry. This is what is done. Creation of central tax ledger and service tax ledger at the rate 14%. Okay, that is duties and taxes are the one which under which it comes, and they are part of service tax. Okay, and whereas this one is part of GST. This is part of GST and this is part of service tax. Okay, so we provided those details and the ledgers have been created. So in this, we have got the second part of it where we have to post journal entry. Okay, so this is what we are going to do here. I'll say recording a journal voucher for transaction. Okay, recording of journal voucher for transaction. Mainly it is used for what? For your what do you say, credit transfer. Okay, so I'll say credit under GST on services. Okay, so for this what we have to do is just perform this navigation steps. Number one, gateway of tally. So under gateway of tally you'll find accounting voucher, AV accounting voucher, and you have to press function key F7, which is nothing but journal. Okay, you can press F2 to set your date if you want to change. Alt J for adjustments. Okay, so I'll just say Alt J for adjustments. We call it as state adjustments. Okay, state adjustment. So in this, it is going to prompt you for some details. We are going to configure those details. Please check this. I'm doing it finally. So this is gateway of tally. Accounting voucher. Gateway of tally, accounting voucher. Function key F7. Let's check this. So we are right now in ledger. Press escape to go to your gateway of tally 2 times. We go for accounting voucher. Okay, so in accounting voucher you have to press what? Function key F7, which is nothing but journal. Okay, so select this, click on this, or press function key F7. Okay, now here in this particular screen I told you we have to do some adjustments. So just say Alt J. Okay, I'll press escape once again. Please check this. Alt J is for state adjustment. So Alt J you have to select. Okay, now in this you are going to provide some details. The details is pertaining toward GST. So select GST. Okay, and you have to select from the list. You have got what do you say? Okay, here we have got the option that is insert. Sorry, not insert. Increase of input tax credit. Select this option. Okay. Increase of input tax credit, that is nothing but we are going to transfer it to appropriate ledgers. That is what we are selecting over here, and from here you select transactional credit. Okay, that's it. So that is what we did. I'll repeat. You press Alt J. Okay, select from the list GST. The second option, increase of input tax credit, and select transactional credit. This is what we do with Alt J. Once you're done with that, then comes the journal posting. So here we are debiting the amount that is to central tax. So just type in central tax. Okay, central tax. I'm giving the amount, let us say the accumulated amount is 50,000. Okay, and it is supposed to be credited just say 2, your service tax at the rate 14%. Okay, so that is also 60,000. Here I'll give a narration being the closing SUNVAT, service tax within brackets, service tax credited balance rupees 50,000 is fully eligible to be carried forward as transactional credit. Okay, so this is what I have given. We are nothing but that SUNVAT accumulated amount, we're transferring it to appropriate ledger. That is what it means. So enter and say yes. That is how we perform your input tax credit. Okay, that is what we did. Input tax credit has been transferred to your GST, that is appropriate ledger, that is central tax ledger. Okay, all right. So once you're done with this, then comes the next part. Okay, it's done. So transferring of input tax credit to GST is performed. Then we have got the next topic called as intrastate and interstate. Okay, intrastate and interstate. So for this, let me give you some point about what exactly your intrastate is and what is your interstate. Okay, a small briefing about intrastate and interstate. Okay, now please check this out. When you talk about your intrastate, it is nothing but place of supply of service or services and location of supply are the same. Location of supply are the same. That is, if the transaction is happening in Telangana only, then we call it as intrastate. Similarly, we have got interstate. So what do you mean by interstate? Is place of supply of services is different from the location of supply. Different from the location of supply. Just a minute. Okay. So that is the briefing about it. That is, if you are having intrastate transaction, the services are provided within the state. If it is interstate, services are provided outside the state. That is very simple and easy to understand. Because we have done the same thing for goods also. This, we are going to work with number one, that is intrastate inward supply. Intrastate inward supply intrastate outward supply of services. Intrastate, inward and outward supply of service. Similarly, interstate, we are going to see about interstate inward supply of services. Interstate outward supply of services. So this is what we have to see in practical approach. I hope you are getting the point. So I've given you, let me give a recap now. So we discussed about different types of services that are supplied. Okay? Different types of services that are supplied to people. It can be from one business unit to customer, or it can be from one business to other business. Okay, or B2C. These are the different types of services which are provided in a business. Okay, we call it as supply. So they can support a customer or they can support one business to another business. So I've given you the different types of examples by which you can understand what exactly this services is coming into picture. Okay, so these are the different scenarios what I've explained. Then we went practically creating a company with the name as GST Enterprise located in Bangalore. Set up your GST related information, and then we created two ledgers in this process. Okay, we created two ledgers. Before creating ledgers, enable the GST option and service option by pressing function key F11 for features and F3 for statutory and taxation. Enable the checkbox by setting it as yes for enable GST and enable service. Once that is done, we save the details about the changes that we have made in features and the sub screen, that is statutory and taxation. And then we proceeded further to perform an input credit tax to GST by creating two ledgers. We created two ledgers. One is central tax ledger and the other one is service tax ledger at the rate 14% of tax that we have collected. Okay, they both are coming under duties and taxes. After that, we performed a journey posting for which we navigated to gateway of tally accounting voucher, press function key F7. We have posted the entry, debit entry for your central tax and credit entry for your service tax. Okay, so that way we perform. But prior to that, we have done some configuration with the help of Alt-J, that is state adjustments, to specify that whatever transaction you're performing, it is pertaining to your tax credit. Okay, once that was done, we saved all your details and we came out from that. And then we discussed about what exactly is intrastate and interstate. Okay, with a reference to services. So place of supply, if it is same, okay, with reference to your location of supply, that is, if the transaction of service which is rendered is happening within the state, we call it as intrastate supply of services. These supply of services can be inward, that is, can be received or can be given outward. So we call it as intrastate inward supply of service, intrastate outward supply of service. Similarly, we have got interstate. The place of supply as well as the location of supply are different. That means Telangana is performing some transaction with Bangalore. Okay, so in that case, the place of supply and the location of supply are, that is, the supplier's information are different. Okay, in that case, we go with intrastate inward supply of service, intrastate outward supply of service. So these topics, practical scenarios, is what we have to work on with. Okay, so once we are done with the different types of scenarios, okay, which are related with services, we proceed further and we work with reports. There are reports which comes in between, and we have got something called as cancellation. Okay, we've got something called as cancellation. Cancellation of what? Services. So cancellation of service, how exactly it is documented and recorded for your inward supply. Okay, so normally we can cancel for this inward supply of service. So how do you record that and document it is what we are going to see. Okay, there are altogether around 20-25 steps. Okay, just understand the flow, it will be sufficient. Similarly, just like cancellation of inward supply, in the same way we do have even cancellation of service with the reference to outward supply. Okay, inward is you're receiving the service, outward is you're giving the service. Let's say MI service center guy is planning to come on Sunday. So I'm saying, sorry, I don't want, I'm leaving, I'm going out of station. So you cancel it. That is what is called as cancellation of service for inward supply. Okay. Similarly, you are planning to go and rectify some problem. Okay. You're a service center guy. You are going and performing the task of rendering the service. but the person called up, the customer called up and said, no, I don't want this service. It is too costly or too expensive. I want to cancel it. So at that point, outward supply is supposed to be cancelled. So cancellation of service with the reference to outward supply, practical approach to that also I'm going to give. Once we are done with that, and we have got one more topic called as defining tax rate. Okay, defining tax rate at master and transaction level. That is, tax can be implemented at various levels. So how do you do that? With the reference to company, account group, account ledger, and transaction. Basically, 4 are the places where you can perform the task. So those I'm going to discuss at company level. Topmost would be company level. Next is your accounting group. Next would be your accounting ledger, where you can go and perform changes in the taxation. Okay, and the core, that is transaction level. So taxes can be implemented at various levels. That example I'm going to give you, and how exactly it works, what are the different steps that you need to perform, would conclude this particular unit. Okay, so we are still in a flow where we have stopped at this point with basic configuration and setting to enable your service, enable GST, and from here your intrastate and interstate transactions and scenarios are going to start. Okay, so that will be in next session. Please remember, this is very, very important topic. Okay, so don't miss the topic. Whatever we have done up to this point, it is just basic configuration and performing a journal post. Okay, that is input tax credit is what we have discussed in today's class. Configuration and input tax credit, for which we need 2 ledgers we created, and we saw the practical scenario of it. Okay, similar to this, then we have got the final step, that is recording your advance entries. That would be the last topic. Okay, and migrating to other ERP, that would be the last topic. So roughly tomorrow I'll take this. Okay, today's Friday, so tomorrow I'll be taking that. Saturday I'm going to take this. Monday I'm going to take recording of advanced entries. Okay, and the concluding part of it, that is migration or to Tally ERP 9. Okay, migration to Tally ERP 9. Topics are there, small topics, that is export and import. So those things we are going to see. All right, so I need 1 day to complete this and 1 day to complete the final. Okay, so roughly 2 sessions more, I'll be finishing off the ending part of GST. Right? Okay, then I hope you have understood whatever I have discussed. Practice this once so that it will be easy for you to memorize the snapshot of the screens. Okay, it will be easy for you to memorize it if you're doing it on a paper. Once you write the steps, so that it will be easy for you. Okay, then fine. So I'm going to stop here, and we'll continue in the next session from intrastate and interstate supply of services in your inward and outward supply. Intrastate inward, intrastate outward, interstate inward, and interstate outward. Okay, don't miss the topic, please. Okay, then thank you. Have a nice day. Take care. I'm going to stop the session here.